Well, hello, young and the restless daily recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Friday, January the 20th, 2023. Friday, January the 20th, 2023. I have to get that 23 and not 22. Trying to keep that straight now. Today's episode was to me comical where Keystone Jack was concerned. But I'm gonna get to him. We have Chance, okay, with his daily 3 times a day check-in with Sharon. I think this was probably check-in number 1 for the day. He's questioning whether he wants to be. We're back to him questioning his career path. He just doesn't know, what he wants to do. And he gets because he's telling Sharon something isn't right about the whole Jeremy Stark collar, meaning the whole arrest, he goes, you know how when things are just wrapped up in such a nice, neat, tidy bow to make it look like something other than it is, he told Sharon, that's my gut. My gut is this is not what it seems to be. So he gets a call, a text from Chicago PD, and he needs to go follow up on something. No, they are taking it just in the nice, neat little bow. They're thanking him. Hey, thank you, great job. Bad guy, busted. He was denied bail, or he's being arraigned. He's being arraigned, and you know what? Pretty slam dunk case. And so he's just saying, I don't know. My gut says it's not. My gut says it's not. So we also have it shows Diane, Kyle, Jack, Summer in the living room, and Diane is just bragging. So blah 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 and did and guess what and da 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 and I did this and that and the other, and Jeremy is arrested and again, and now he's going to go back to prison and blah blah blah, you know. And Summer's just looking. She goes, "How do you know?" And Diane said she looked. Summer says, "How do you know that Stark was thinking this, that, and the other?" Because Diane says, "Oh, I had him right where I wanted him," and so Diane says, "Well, that's because Stark thought that he and I were going to reconnect on a personal level, get intimate." She did everything but say, "Look, if I had to, I was going to get down and dirty, right, naked." And Summer looked and he goes, "Well, I hope it wasn't going to come to that." She goes, "Oh, no, I wasn't going to even let it get to that." And Summer's just looking at her. She goes, "But that gave me a chance to get him out the room. I planted the evidence." And oh, Summer says, "Well," she goes, "and now Jeremy should be going away for a long time." Summer says, "You hope." Diane looked at her, and Jack kind of looked at Summer like, "What do you mean?" And Kyle's like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "You hope he doesn't have a good lawyer. Because if he does have a good lawyer and they get him off, he's going to come after all of us. So you better hope they put him away." And then the doorbell rings. And they kind of look at Summer like, "Well, that's just not going to happen." Oh, it's Nikki. Get this, Jack invites Nikki over. So Summer's like, "My grandma? Like, what is my grandmother? Hey, Nikki, come on in. I wanted to give you an update on your necklace." Now, what connection would Jack have? What even update would Jack have to give Nikki? And so Summer and Kyle, at this point, they're standing. And he's saying, "Yes, Stark was arrested." And Nikki says, "Well, I got informed by the Chicago police that they arrested someone. I didn't know it was Jeremy Stark." And so Summer looks at Kyle. She goes, and then she looks at Nikki. "You know what? We have got to get to work." Uh, And so she kind of touches Nikki's shoulder, like, bye, Grandma. And she gets her jacket. And Kyle kind of looks like, oh. And he follows her because Summer did not want to be in the room while they completely lied to her grandmother's face. Completely lie. So they leave. And Jack says, oh, yeah, no, listen. Yes, they arrested Jeremy Stark. He was the one. They found his, and Nikki says they found reading glasses by the safe. That was strange. It says, but yeah, so he is arrested. He's out of our lives. He'll be out of town. I mean, he's gone. So the danger's going to be over. And so Nikki looks and she goes, so why do you know so much? Well, Diane and I happened to be there when he got arrested. And so Nikki says, and she looks at Jack, she looks at Diane, she goes, how convenient. I have another theory on what happened, but how convenient for you, Diane. Diane kind of looks at her like what? And so Jack goes, no, everything is cut and dry. And she goes, Victor and I haven't changed she goes, it's just interesting. Why would he, a man who really doesn't know me, why would he go all the way to Chicago to steal from me, take one piece of jewelry, and leave his reading glasses behind? She goes, now that I think about it, and she goes, with no sign of forced entry whatsoever. Now that I think about it, Victor and I haven't changed the codes. And she looked at Jack dead in his face. Since you and I spent some time together. Way back, codes haven't changed since then. So she looks at Jack. And he kind of looks away when she says that, right? He does not have a poker face. He kind of. Then she looks over at Diane, who's looking at her dead in her face, like, you can't prove nothing, And so at that moment, there's a knock on the door. And Diane says, oh, it looks like we have another visitor. We have another visitor. So Jack opens the door and it's Chance. I loved it. Chance was playing it cool. Now he's looking at Nikki, he's looking at Jack, and he's looking at Diane. Now Chance doesn't know, because remember, his gut smells a rat. Chance doesn't know if Nikki is involved with this. Because remember, the Newmans were all in the other cover-up. So in Chance's mind, it could be anything, right? And so Nikki says, hello, Chance. And he goes, Nikki. And he goes, I came to give an update that Stark is going to be arraigned today. But the case looks pretty, arraigned today. But somehow he said the case is moving forward or something. And Jack is like, yeah, it should be pretty slam dunk. And Chance says, what I've learned, because he is a criminal, a hardened criminal, Jack has said, and he's going on. And he goes, what I've learned is the wealthy in this town feels like they can manipulate the law to suit their needs. And he looks at Jack. He really wasn't looking at Nikki. Looking at Nikki. He's looking at Jack, and he's looking at Diane. And Nikki says, Chance, I was just mentioning to Jack here that Victor and I haven't been diligent enough with changing our security codes. It's been those particular codes for years. We're going to take care of that. Rest assured that. We're going to take care of that. And so she goes, thank you so much for your help. And she goes, well, I guess I better be going. And so she looks at Jack and Diane and she walks out, right? And Chance is looking, because she gave him a clue. And when she said that, haven't been changed in years, Jack kind of went, ooh. And Diane was like, why would she say that? You know? So Chance is just coolly feeling them out as after Nikki left, but he's kind of letting them know he feels there's more to this. He goes, I feel there's more than meets the eye where this case is concerned. But I just wanted to give you both an update. So he leaves. But it was just interesting. Nikki saw that plan. She saw exactly what happened with that plan from the minute Jack opened his mouth with he and Diane's involvement in it. She already figured out what happened, that this was a scheme on their part. Nikki's no dummy. Look, she's been a part of schemes to bring against Diane this whole time. So she's like, if I was gonna plan something, yeah, that's what I do. And she's looking like, and Jack, you know the codes. And for the simple fact that it was only one thing taken, one. Because they would have been able to swipe all of it. And a criminal would have. Why one piece? So needless to say, I really feel that they're not going to let this be over. Chance is not going to let this be over, except he goes back to Sharon and he goes, you know what? After the conversations I just had, I now more than ever feel that this is not the right profession for me anymore. I now more than ever feel that. And in my mind, I'm thinking, no, Chance, Genoa City, GCPD ain't the place for you. Go to Chicago PD. But hey, if you don't want to be a cop, you're right. Don't be a cop. But look, don't be a CEO, COO. So anyway, Sharon is trying to throw out ideas for him. She's having a whole lot of fun with him, and he's actually having a whole lot of fun with her. They're both actually growing real, real close. They're going to be, let's see, what is this? By Valentine's Day, they'll be in the sack. That's my guess, everybody. What's your prediction? How much longer do you think it'll be before they write Sharon and Chance in the bed? I say by Valentine's Day. So we have Sally tells Nick, no. After everybody leaves, I have to show this quick picture, and then I got to get off of it because I'm like, Jack and Diane in the bed. Oh, they so gleefully celebrating. Oh, they getting it on. See, this is why they're going to both be slapped in the face because it's going to unravel. Because I'm sorry, isn't it against the law for one to commit the crime and then to set someone else up? You completely committed fraud, a grand larceny, fraud, a defamation of character. Oh, they did a whole lot. So wow, that's crazy. So anyway, that's going to be good. We have Sally telling Nick, because Nick figured it out. He goes, you still okay? Because I think something's not right. And then he goes, I've been through this rodeo before a number of times, Sally. Could it be you're pregnant? And she was shocked. Nick is thinking, hey, guess what, girl? We haven't worn protection not one time. I've been through this. I knew there's a chance I could get you pregnant, but I didn't care. I didn't care about that at all. We didn't discuss birth control. So this is it's fine because I love kids. I can have them until I'm in my 60s. I'm cool with it, Sally. I fast forward a lot of their conversation. I don't know if they even discussed. I kind of think they didn't discuss the fact that it could be Adam's baby. See, and then Nick will say, well, it's mine. We won't tell, I'm going to raise it. It's mine. Adam don't need to be raising a kid. That's how Nick feels. He'll want to urge Sally to make sure the paternity is, the baby is his. Nick is Nick. Okay. So then we have, this is what else is crazy to me. You know how Summer and Kyle left because Summer wanted to get him out of there. They're at Newman. They're in the lobby, just got there. Guess who waltzes his Darth Vader-ish behind in the lobby, but Victor Newman. And Adam is there sitting on the desk. And he's talking to Kyle and Summer, you know, about, yeah, I saw you talking to my father. And Kyle is just like, shh. And then Victor just walks right in. And Adam looks, well, looky here. What are you doing here? And he goes, I've come to talk to Kyle about Harrison. Now you're going to come to this man's place of business versus inviting him over for family dinner to talk about Harrison. And so Kyle is looking at Victor and Summer's looking at her granddad like, granddad, really? Because remember, she doesn't want Kyle to get involved with Victor at all, right? And so he goes, and so he says, so, because little Harrison is the next generation of Newman. So I want to talk about him. For one, he's an Abbott. Abbott. Harrison Abbott, right? So what do you got going on? So anyway, what happens is, even though Victoria's kids are Abbott's too, but I'm just saying, you don't come and decide to design a whole child's life this young, and you don't come at the start of business to do it. Victor says, let me speak to you for a moment, my boy. Walks right into Jack's office like it's his office. Kyle has an office. Kyle's the CEO of Marquetti. He could have said, okay, let's go to my office. But he walks into Jack's office because Victor knows that if Jack had to come in, Victor wouldn't have cared. He would have rubbed it in his face that he's speaking to his son, Jack's son, in his own office. That's audacity, right? So Kyle walks in and Adam looks at Summer because Summer said, no, actually, Kyle asked Grandpa, he's going to discuss some Valentine's idea with my grandfather. And Kyle heard that as he walked in, so I guess he could get it in his mind that that's the cover story. Victor had already walked in. And Adam, as they walked in and closed the door, Adam said, ooh, Summer, they're training you well, right? And she looked, what is that supposed to mean? She goes, we both know that that's not true. That's a lie. We're not talking of Kyle's not asking my father for romantic Valentine's idea tips. So you're covering already. Let me tell you what's really happening in there, Summer. My father is trying to enlist your husband into doing something illegal to get me out of Jabot. And Summer just looks at him. Says, yeah, because see, that's exactly what it would be. It's going to be something planted, something fabricated that I did not do. And you're okay with that, huh? And she's just looking. He says, understand this. My father is in there right now manipulating your husband, Kyle. And he's a master at it. So, yeah, and you're okay with it, right? And Summer's like, you don't know anything, Adam. And she walks away. And I'm like, no, Adam knew everything. He had the nail completely on the head with that. All of it he knew. So in the room, Victor is talking to Kyle. As soon as Kyle walked in the door, why haven't you returned any of my phone calls? Oh, no, I don't work for you, Victor. And Kyle kind of looks at him. I want to talk about what are we going to do to get out. See, oh my goodness, the whole thing was just so out of line with Victor. Out of line. Then he had the nerve. He had the nail on the head where Kyle's mother's concerned. He says, your mother has gotten into a lot of trouble, and your mother her companions were unsavory people. And now all that's in and once it came to light, her activities, what she had been doing, you should have cut ties with her way back then. I don't understand what you're thinking. And he goes, but I understand, sometimes it's hard. Family is family, and she is your mother. But he goes, you need to open your eyes, Kyle, to her. And I'm thinking, oh, and that kind of shut Kyle off to Victor, because you don't talk about my mom, because I got to protect my mama. Why didn't he protect his mother? To Victor said, don't talk about my mother, Victor. Please. You can plan against your son, but don't talk about my mom. But Kyle didn't say nothing. So Victor lays out, they don't come up with a plan or anything, but he just wants to know, is Kyle in? And Kyle looked at him. Kyle said, nah, could be. But there's something I want you to do for me first. And Victor looks at him like, what could that be? I'm wondering, is Kyle going to spill the beans? I don't know, because whatever Kyle could say, like, look the other way where your necklace is concerned, or I'm trying to figure what could Kyle want Victor to do for him first. So let's get some dialogue going in comment corner. What does any of you think Kyle would want from Victor in order to go along with, a plan to get rid of Adam? That's interesting, everybody. Let's go to comment corner. Latonia says, Devon is crazy to take that deal. Anita says, Lily and Jill's new plan for Chancellor is going to keep Hamilton Winters division, and Devon can start a new company on his own, and they will give Devon back the name Hamilton Winters. Ridiculous. It's a ridiculous plan. The answer should be absolutely no. And Libby says, indeed, Daily Recap Lady really understands the nuances of business. I didn't even think of the artist that Devon had under contract, the residuals, and all of those different aspects she pointed out. I mean, there's a whole lot Devon would be completely given up. And Libby also says, Lily made all those emotional arguments that Jill had dismissed out of one hand when Devon made them. Jill acknowledged Devon's feelings, but said that's personal, and there's no place in professional. And it has no place in professional. That's pretty two-faced. I love how excited we get talking about the plot and how stupid it is. I don't think waiting a year for the IPO would work, because Jill wants the IPO based on the strength as the company exists now. She feels that the merger is what made the company worthy of a stock offering. Could be, but guess what, Jill? You stupid. So here's a thought. Devon accepts the new offer, start a new company, and hires Chance as the CEO. Blah, yeah, that was a joke. Because if Devon is starting all the way over, he's going to need somebody experienced, 100%. He can't. Devon will be starting so far back in left field, it's not even funny. It's not. The music industry is even run differently now from when he started it, from the company Tucker gave him years of. Goodness, it's been probably 15 years ago or so. Good. No, don't do that. Do not do that. You're right. This is a vulnerable and touching point of Victoria we're seeing. Yeah. I think her pain is loneliness. She's lost Ashlyn. She's having conflicts with Nick at work. And now there's a new family nucleus that she isn't a part of yet. Billy and Chelsea both went through tragedies and landed in a warm embrace, metaphorically speaking. She has no one. Subscribe, it's free. Thank you so much. Check the like button and the bell so you don't miss any episodes. Yes, thank you, Libby. And Medora says, you are right. This deal Jill and Lily presented Devon is nothing more than a scam. After the two failures with the IPO, there's no guardrails to stop it from happening again. None. Nothing. And what would really happen is, bottom line, the board would vote out, veto selling anything. They would say, we're too new. We just went public. No, you're not paying out this kind of money for what? What are you paying for? So anyway, that's it for Comic Corner. Comic Corner, I will be back on Monday for another daily recap of The Young and the Restless.